Hey y'all, welcome to Mentally Dedicated. I know I disappear and then I come back, but however, I have been wanting to do this video because it seems like everybody is talking about anxiety these days. And so I wanted to bring this video to you all with a little bit more information about anxiety so that you would just have a better idea of what anxiety is and things that you can do, coping skills that you can learn that can help with your anxiety. For those who don't know me, my name is Mariah. I am a licensed social worker, a licensed master social worker. I am also a clinician. So I like to bring these videos just to help people understand different things related to their mental health a little bit better. I want to talk about the most common form of anxiety because when people say that they have anxiety, a lot of people are not aware that there are more than one forms of anxiety. There are multiple forms of anxiety, a lot actually. So I want to talk about the most common, which is generalized anxiety disorder. And so first of all, I like to throw my disclaimer out there. I am not diagnosing anybody. I encourage you not to diagnose yourself. Go see a clinician, go to Psychology Today, find you a therapist, call your insurance company, find you a therapist, ask your friends, whatever. However, this is my disclaimer. I am not diagnosing you, and I do not encourage you to diagnose yourself based on what I say, based on any of the information in my video. Okay, so now that we got that disclaimer out there, let me go ahead and jump into the video. So the most common form is generalized anxiety disorder. So in order to be diagnosed, which I'm not doing, be diagnosed with anxiety, you have to meet multiple symptoms to meet the criteria. You have to experience multiple symptoms for at least 6 months. So you'll see me looking down because I believe in actual references. Like, people want to know where you get this knowledge from, so that they can go back and read on it themselves, or go back and ask questions when they have a therapist. So what I'm looking at is the DSM-5, which is, the DSM-5, which is like the social work Bible. So this is what we use to actually diagnose people. And when you see inside of the DSM-5, you have to meet, for generalized anxiety disorder, you have to at least experience 3 of the 6 symptoms for at least 6 months or more to be diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I'm not going to spend too much time actually talking about the criteria to be diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, only because you really have to go see a clinician to be diagnosed, or a psychiatrist, psychologist. You have to actually go see these people to be diagnosed. So, but what I want to talk about is, what is anxiety? So some people may not even know what anxiety is because maybe they haven't experienced it, or maybe they have experienced anxiety but didn't know what it was. So let me talk about what it is first before we even get into coping skills or different things that you can do to help decrease that anxiety, or at least to help manage the anxiety. So the best way to describe anxiety is that when there are like signals sent to your brain telling you that we are in danger, so which is where that flight or flight kicks in. So it's either like, we got to do something about this. This is foreign. We don't know what's happening. So anxiety presents itself differently. You might have somebody who their anxiety may present itself in the physical sense. So you may have headaches. You may feel sick to your stomach. You may have tightness in your chest. You may have all these different physical symptoms, or you may have the mental symptoms where you're overthinking a lot, where you just cannot function properly, period. So your anxiety can present itself in different ways. But again, this is where you go to see your clinician and properly discuss what the symptoms that you're having, how long, etc. So that is what you consider anxiety. Now, I want to talk about some different coping skills, because there are multiple ways of coping or managing the anxiety. And I want to talk about specifically grounding techniques. Now, even when you talk about grounding techniques, you have to get specific with that, because there are a lot of grounding techniques that you can do as well to help with the anxiety. So I want to talk about the grounding techniques of your senses. We want to talk about using your senses to help decrease that anxiety. Or if you're having a panic attack, some people experience panic attacks when they're having anxiety. So let's talk about the different grounding techniques. When I speak about senses, I'm speaking about using all 5 of your senses to help decrease or manage the anxiety in that moment. So you may even be experiencing a panic attack, which can help, which I'm not really speaking on panic attacks too much in this video, but for those who have experienced a panic attack, this can be useful as well. So when we talk about 5 senses, you want to look around and see 5 things, or notice 5 things that you can see. 5 things that you can see. You want to notice 4 things that you hear, 3 things that you can touch, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Now, the ideal scenario would be sitting down to be able to do this, because again, it's a grounding technique. You want to be able to become one with yourself and actually be present in the moment to focus on the things that you have to focus on. However, sometimes you may experience anxiety when you're out in the public. So you do the best you can with what you have around you with these techniques. And the reason why this technique is useful or helpful is because when you're focusing on the things that are discussed in this technique, you're actually reframing your thought process at that time, right? Because now you're focusing on the things that you need to focus on, which are the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 things. So instead of your brain still focusing on whatever triggered you or the thing that scared you, now your brain is focusing on, okay, the 5 things that I need to see, the 4 things that I need to hear, and so on and so forth. So now you're actually calming yourself because you're reframing your thought process. And lastly, I wanted to talk about a form of therapy that is helpful when you're dealing with anxiety, which is CBT, which I'm sure I probably spoke about CBT in one of my previous videos. However, I want to touch on it again. So what CBT stands for is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a form of therapy that a lot of therapists use, actually, because what CBT does is it helps you reshift your thought process, which is just like that technique. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is also helping you reframe your thought process. CBT does that as well. CBT teaches us the way that we think affects the way that we feel, which affects the way that we behave, which is true. So basically, if you reframe the way that you think, it will also play a part on the way that you feel and the way that you behave. So maybe you'll go to work and you'll be like, I'm anxious because I don't know what to expect every day at this job. And that makes me anxious because I like routine, whatever. Okay, cool. So if that is you, then maybe reshifting that thought process will help. So instead of feeling like, I'm anxious, I don't know what to expect, go in it with the mindset of, I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited because I can learn. It gives me the opportunity to grow. I can add this to my resume and I can go look for a job that pay more, or whatever the case may be. But if you shift the way that you think about it, it will help you feel differently and you will behave differently. So if you start thinking like, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to grow, you're going to start feeling that when you go to work. Like, I'm motivated, I'm here, let's do this. And then you'll behave differently. So which means you won't come home talking about it all day. You won't wake up every morning feeling like, I don't want to go to this job. You'll go with it. You'll go into this job with the mindset of, I'm going to learn, I'm going to get what I need, and I'm going to use this to grow. Hope this video was helpful for someone. And comment down below what other topics y'all would like for me to talk about. And if I'm knowledgeable in the area, I have no problem making a quick video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you would like to see. If there's any other topics, if you would like me to do any other educational videos related to mental health. And don't forget to tell your people to come watch my channel.